Yo, let's go and welcome to the video. This is hard mode Hodir, and I've slowed the VOD down to 0.75 speed, so hopefully I can get out what's going on during the replay. So starting off at the pool timer, I'm pre-popping Wild Magic. I'm trying to get like an angle so I can hit as many of these ice shards with Typhoon as possible. And then popping Starfall immediately to also try to like break out as many of the NPCs from their frozen state as I can. And then Fairy Fire, Insect Swarm on the boss as I'm running towards the boss to get into position. Then I kind of do a little different thing here at the start, and I've already got to take it back here really quick. So I'm starting the fight casting Starfire so that I get a solar proc, just in case when the beams come down, I can get into a beam close to the fire and have like really fast Starfire casts in a lunar. So the beams are already starting to come down. There's a fire out. No luck with the beam being near the fire, but that's the best possible scenario, a beam near the fire at the start, because I'm trying to help stack the Singe Debuff. So casting Wraths is a faster cast, it stacks Singe faster, so being in a solar near the fire is gonna be really useful to get that stack up. And then now there's beams getting close to it, but I'm trying to move away from the icicles that are coming down, dodging those as much as I can. It's a really weird fight, but as you can see on the damage meters, I'm already at like 15, 16k DPS. And I've paused it here. I've got the Storm Power buff, which you can see up here next to Lust. It's kind of pixelated. Sorry, it's a VOD. I didn't record it. And this is the buff that increases the critical strike damage by 135% for 30 seconds. So if you're doing the math, the hard mode lasts 2 minutes. So if you get 3 of these Storm Power buffs and have a minute 30 seconds of 135% crit, it's almost going to guarantee that you get a 99 for this fight. I only got 2 of these, but still having this buff for half of the fight is plenty to do some insane DPS. So the first flash freeze is coming out here. I hop onto the safe spot. Starfall comes off cooldown. Typhoon comes off cooldown just at the right time, most attempts, and then that's when I pop my second Wild Magic potion to help give Starfall, Typhoon some extra spell power, some extra crit chance to make sure things are getting broken out of those ASAP. And then also having extra spell power and crit while standing in one of these beams is gonna just give you way more value than using a potion of speed. So sometimes I'm trying to cast like a Wrath or two to try to proc another lunar during the fight. For the most part, I'm just trying to get into these beams and cast Starfires as much as possible. Even right here, I had Hyperspeed up. I finally used it a little bit late there. Got a couple Starfires off with the Hyperspeed and ended the fight on the details with 22k DPS. In the logs, it's like 21.8. And on that note, let's take a look at the top parsing boomy for Hodir. And the top log is just shy of 28,000 DPS, done back on February 8th. As you can see, they were also using mainly Starfire, a couple of Wraths in there. They did opt to use a potion of speed, so let's take a look at their cast time for Starfire. They cast it right towards the end of their Bloodlust at minute 22, and they were getting under 1 second Starfires. A different playstyle there. I prefer the Wild Magic. Speed can get you GCD capped on Starfire. Let me know which potion you prefer. Even without the potion of speed, even with just Hyperspeed and Lust, they were under that 1 second Starfire cast time. And as far as the Storm Power debuff goes, they had 3 of them applied to them. So for almost 2/3 of the fight, they had uptime with this powerful buff. I only had 52%. There was another Storm Power buff that I could have gotten off of my tank if I had realized and ran in and got it off of the tank. So keep an eye out for your tank's name popping up in DBM. If they get the Storm Power buff, run in, grab it from your tank. They're most likely not going to run around and give it to you. It's going to be worth it for that little bit of downtime to run in, maybe pop your nitro boost, go into melee range, go right back out into a beam near a fire and keep pumping those Starfires out. So one other thing to compare really quick is the rank 1 Starfire crit percentage was 82.5%. Mine was only 60.5. I wasn't fishing enough for those lunars, especially with that Storm Power debuff. I'll be looking out for that a lot more in the weeks coming up, but I did do almost 100k damage from my 2 typhoons, whereas they only did 1 typhoon for 20k. Something I've been really lazy on lately is using engineering bombs, so a 17.8k sapper is pretty huge. Another big damage difference here is my starfall damage. I did over 300k damage with my 2 starfall casts, and they didn't even have 200k. But because their Starfire average cast was over 50k per cast, mine was only just under 40k, that allowed their DPS to just skyrocket up an extra 6,000 DPS. That's going to do it for this one. I'll see you in the next hard mode.